Bowls are good in any size, and for demonstration purposes I'm showing my large bowl, which I make from 6 pounds of clay. 6 to 8 pounds is about as much as I use for anything. After that you start wasting a lot of clay, I find, or else I don't make anything bigger than that. Anyway, you get the bottom smooth and start doing the first pull to get the basic shape defined. Paying mostly attention to the thickness on the bottom and trying to think about the bottom of that bowl as you start to pinch another layer up, another pull. The second pull obviously yields the biggest increase, and of course how many pulls you use is sort of up to you, but certainly the fewer pulls you can get by with, the larger the pot you're going to be able to make because you've mixed less water in with the clay. The problem after the first pull is you can't keep your hands locked together. When I brace my hands together, I know I can pinch and control exactly what I'm doing with the clay. When your hands aren't in contact with each other, you don't know quite so much what's going on. Okay, there I did some ribbing to smooth off the inside, and basically we're going to finish that one. Now I want to demonstrate the technique of sgriffido, or marking through the clay, and I wanted to first show some different brushes. They all do similar things, but depending on the width and things that you want to do with them. Anyway, these are some of the brushes you might use, and this is the sgriffido tool. Sgriffido, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, mostly I read it in books. The left end there has a single bump, and the right end has 3 little bumps. Could have 2, could have 4. 3 seems to be what works best for me. Before we see how these tools are used, though, first we have to trim the bowl the next day or so when it's leather hard. And I use water on the large bat to make it stick in place. It's a large suction cup shape, so it usually holds it well enough. And I apply a light touch to the trimming. Here I'm using a large loop tool to trim off some of the throwing lines as well as some of that excess clay on the outside. Now in large bowls, sometimes I'll have trouble with the added foot cracking, even just in the final firing, so sometimes I avoid adding a foot and I just trim a foot, and I think that's what I'm doing with this one here. And in that case, then it's just a matter of cutting straight down and cutting straight down again and going towards the middle. This is very much the type of traditional footing that most young or new to the endeavor potters encounter. Of course, one problem with trimming is it always exposes the grain of the clay underneath, any sand or grog that's in the clay. In this case, I'm going to cover up that exposed grain with the slip. The slip that I'm using has some specks of manganese in it to give it a speckled appearance when being fired. I'm also using red iron oxide, which comes out a dark brown, to give it some variety between the two, and to show the pattern well. Bands of the red iron are applied while the wheel is spinning. Some small bands just for a different kind of decoration. And now we've got to locate the sgriffido tool underneath all the little bits of clay that have been flying off. And here we have it. First I'm going to score some single lines with that left or pointed end. When I get all those done, then I'm going to do the other kind, switch to the other end with the 3 bumps. And I'm making an up and down motion while it turns, which ends up being semicircular and repeated over and over again till you get to the other end. You have to be careful when you come to match up, but that's all there is to that type of scratching or sgriffido decoration. And here's a sample of the finished decoration.